During the dark years of the Egyptian dynasty, a cruel decree was issued. Every newborn male child of the Israelites was to be killed. The pharaoh, who sat on the throne with boundless power, feared the growing population of the Israelites, the slaves of the kingdom. He ordered a massacre, aiming to suffocate their future before it could even begin. Amidst the storm of fear, a mother sought to save her son from this terrible fate. She lined a basket with pitch and set it adrift on the Nile, placing her hope in the water. In the mist of dawn, the river silently carried the basket away, carrying with it a small creature destined for greatness. As fate would have it, the pharaoh's daughter discovered the basket while bathing by the river. Seeing the child crying in the simple basket, her heart was filled with compassion. Although she knew the boy was an Israelite, she decided to adopt him as her own son, naming him Moses, which means drawn from the water. As a slave, Moses grew up in a palace, enjoying all the privileges of royalty, unaware of his true bloodline. Moses grew up between two worlds, the luxury of the palace and the suffering of his people. When he saw the Israelites being beaten, a primal rage flared within him. One day, he saw an Egyptian guard torturing an Israelite slave. Unable to contain himself, Moses killed the guard and buried his body in the sand. But the act could not be hidden, and when the truth was revealed, he was forced to flee Egypt, leaving his royal life behind and entering the harsh desert. Moses wandered to Midian, where he found shelter and built a new life. He married a priest's daughter and became a shepherd. He thought his life would pass peacefully, but his destiny never ended there. One day, in the middle of the desert, Moses saw a strange sight, a bush that was on fire but not consumed, and from the midst of the flames, a voice rang out, the voice of God. "Moses, go back to Egypt. You will lead my people out of slavery." The words were like a sharp knife cutting into Moses' mind. How could a man who had committed murder be leader? How could he stand up to Pharaoh, his former family? But God's power could not be denied. And so Moses, the desert shepherd, became God's messenger. Moses returned to Egypt to face Pharaoh, now a proud ruler who had no intention of releasing the Israelites. "Let my people go," Moses said. But Pharaoh laughed in derision. And then God's wrath fell on Egypt. One by one, 10 plagues ravaged the kingdom. The Nile turned to blood. Frogs swarmed. Locusts destroyed crops. Disease attacked people and livestock. Darkness covered the land. Each disaster was a warning, but Pharaoh remained stubborn. Only when the final plague struck the death of his firstborn son did Pharaoh yield. In his agony, he ordered the Israelites to leave. Moses led his people out of Egypt, onto the path to freedom. But as soon as the Israelites reached the shores of the Red Sea, Pharaoh changed his mind. He led a mighty army in pursuit of the traitorous slaves. Behind them was a bloodthirsty enemy. Before them was the vast ocean. There was no escape. But Moses trusted in God. He raised his hand, and the sea parted, opening a dry road. The Israelites ran through in amazement and joy. As the Egyptians charged, the sea suddenly closed, engulfing the entire army in its raging waves. The Pharaoh's reign was over. The Israelites were freed. But freedom was not the end. It was only the beginning. Moses led the Israelites through the desert, toward the promised land. On the arduous journey, they complained. They doubted. But Moses kept moving forward. At Mount Sinai, God appeared once more. From the burning volcano, God gave the 10 Commandments, the sacred law that shaped the morality and way of life of the people of Israel. Moses, an abandoned child, an exiled prince, an unknown shepherd, now became the great leader who brought freedom to his people. His journey is not only a story of miracles, but also a testament to faith, perseverance, and the will to not give up in the face of fate. And so the legend of Moses has been told through the centuries, the story of a man who stood up to power, faced unimaginable challenges, and led his people into the light of freedom.